we were talking about the politics around the Kavanaugh hearing and also the politics around John McCain's passing, the funeral, the subsequent appointment of John Kyle by Doug Ducey, the governor of Arizona, to sit in John McCain's seat for at least, I guess, another 2 years, right? The special election will be in 2020. Because John McCain did not give up his seat in enough time before the November 2018 election for that special election to take place then. And so I want to touch on the piece that you wrote about Lindsey Graham too. He sits on the judiciary. He was out there this weekend, or last weekend, I should say, creating a little space for Kavanaugh to respond to questions about Roe v. Wade by saying that it would almost be disqualifying for Kavanaugh not to entertain the idea of reversing precedent, regardless of what that precedent is. And we can talk about that a little bit, but let's talk just a little bit about what also took place last week, which was, I think it was around a week ago Tuesday. Chuck Schumer made a deal, and I don't even know how you can call it a deal, because usually a deal involves both parties receiving something. But Chuck Schumer made a deal to essentially fast track 15 federal judges, lifetime appointments, one of whom was deemed by the ABA as completely unqualified to sit as a judge, right? I mean, like, this is the same rating that you would give to someone who, I don't know, was, just, I don't know, I'm a podcast host, right? You, someone who's not a lawyer. Never mind, someone to be appointed to a lifetime position. So Chuck Schumer does this. And to be fair, any senator, any sitting senator on the Democratic or independent side could have stood up and said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hold up the Senate. But they fast-tracked this ostensibly to give Democrats more time to campaign at home. But this is absurd. I mean, why would we elect Democrats if not to stop this type of stuff?
Well, and what would happen if they said, if he didn't make that deal? What? So, what's his name? I'm going
Joe
blank
Manchin,
on the Senate
right?
Majority Leader's name.
McConnell.
McConnell, right. Sorry about that. He holds the Senate open in order to pass these judges. They pass them on some kind of party line vote. I guess maybe they can't get a quorum. Is that the idea? If the Democrats just said, hey, we're out of here.
No,
we're going to go campaign. We're not doing it. I mean,
but then it would also hold the Republicans in office too, right? I mean, it's like,
exactly.
And in this era, I mean, I just don't see how it, genuinely creates a negative impact on these things. But the whole reason to vote for Democrats is so that they mount some type of defense against Donald Trump. And how do you justify laying down on that defense? And look, this is a situation where obviously Chuck Schumer, whipped this, right? I mean, because there could be senators out there who say, like, well, I'm not going to do this, but they're intimidated because their leadership is against it. I mean, I don't understand even how this is reported as a deal. What did he get in return?
I don't either. Well, that's the part that I don't get. Everything I've read about this, there's been no real sense that, it doesn't make any sense. In other words, I cannot figure out why he did it. I don't know what the deal was or what he thought he was getting. The idea of them having to go home to campaign, that just doesn't hold water. That doesn't make sense. There had to be some other reason that he did it, but nobody knows what it is. And the truth is, I mean, come on, how many judges does Trump get to have?
Right.
I mean, compared to what Obama got through, which they trickled through at an absolute ridiculous pace, he was hardly able to make an impact on the court through 8 years, and they've been confirming him, 10 at a time.
One out of seven judges on the circuit court system is now a Trump appointee. One out of seven after 2 years. That is a stunning number.
God.
And
it's insane.
And this is, this is the whole kit and caboodle, right? I mean, this is the whole game for the Republicans. And maybe it's unfair. I don't think it is. Certainly, critiquing Chuck Schumer, I am not the only person to do that. There are people who are very familiar with Senate rules who are arguing that there is a lot more that Chuck Schumer could do if he had any ability to lead. And, this is... there's been a lot of attention paid to Nancy Pelosi's leadership, but the fact of the matter is that from the left, I don't see any heir apparent right now who has stepped up, who could take the leadership position from Nancy Pelosi from the left. There's a couple from the right, and I'm not too happy with those. But there are plenty of people from the left, it seems to me, who could step up and take this job from Chuck Schumer and do it better. And it's just interesting in the context of the Senate, how you do not hear that as much. And I wonder if we're going to start hearing that more. I mean, I don't know. I don't recall a time in my lifetime where a Senate leader has been voted out by its caucus. I don't remember one. I mean, it's happened in the context of the House, but you don't see it as much in the Senate. And no, you don't. I would like to see it now, frankly.
Well, yeah, me too. I mean, I think that, look, I understand that opposing a sort of, this force of Trumpism and this completely corrupt Republican Party that are his accomplices. It's not easy. This is a tough thing to deal with. I get it. But that's their job. That's what they're paid for. I mean, what has happened over the course of these 2 years is that the Republicans have been able to enact their, most important goals under Trump, someone for whom they have obviously, or most of them have no respect whatsoever, but doesn't matter. They do the Grover Norquist thing, put a pen in his hand and he'll sign it. But judges and taxes. I mean, those were the bottom line, holy grail, achievements of the first 2 years of the Trump administration. Even if he is forced to resign or he is impeached or he, whatever happens going forward, they will have achieved their most important goals, is to do that. And all they have left is to try and do more. I keep hearing they're going to pass some more tax cuts, for crying out loud, in the lame duck session, because basically they can't think of anything else to do. They've done everything that they wanted. So you look at this kind of thing. This is very, very difficult. It's hard to deal with a corrupt regime, and they really are a regime of people who have just basically said, we're going to win by any means necessary. We know all the rules, norms, everything is out the window. We're going to do whatever we have to do to get this done. Having said that, there are things that the Democrats have not done to, they haven't looked at this and gone, look, we're in an existential crisis, and we are. The judiciary has now been completely taken over by far-right extremists, many of whom are unqualified and unfit for those jobs. Now, I don't think people realize just how this is the kind of stuff that kind of it cascades down into people's regular real lives. And people are going to be feeling this.
It has been, and we got to take a break here, but the biggest failure on the left, it seems to me, center to the left, is that they do not appreciate the relevance of the courts. It has been a failure that, and it is why the right and the Federalist Society have been able to take them over, because they just have not been, they are just not part of the understanding of how our government works by the center and the left. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got a lot more to talk about, Digby.